Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. Gonna be playing more cards. Hope you've been having a good day. And let's get this rolling. Cards. As we left off, we were going through, or we were in the woodland, and this elf lady's gonna tell us how to get out of the forest. I think we're good on things. Everyone's all geared up. Could maybe use a couple items though. Oh, that's expensive. Oh, if I want healing items, we gotta go to the apothecary. Don't have the good salve, just 10. I'll take some though. I already talked to everyone too. I'm just double checking. Okay. Hello.
Riddis pores over a book while practicing on the woodland flute. She remains dreadful at it. The instant you begin speaking, she nearly leaps out of her skin and hides the book. She somehow hadn't noticed you. I thought you were the debt collectors. You can't sneak up on me like that, she stammers, struggling to regain her composure.
Who are you?
You take note of a woman who appears quite ill. As it turns out, she is none other than Riddis's mother. She is in no small amount of pain. Will you give her something to ease her suffering?
No, alright, well, I'll splurge. I'll give you the good stuff.
The item you've proffered has no effect on her illness. But I appreciate the thought, all the same, she says with a smile. Ridis's mother hands you mysterious card 3 as a token of her gratitude.
Well, which one? I probably could have gotten
She
away with
begins
the other
speaking
thing,
of
though.
Ridis, who has been preparing the medicine that helps her get through the day. She blames her illness, and therefore herself, for making Ridis's life so difficult. The more she talks, the more her face drops.
Well, that sucks. See you later.
Been a while since we've had any outsiders, the innkeeper says. It turns out this inn is simply a place where the poor, lost souls trapped in the bewildering wood may recover. You may stay as long as you like, free of charge. The wooden dining table practically groans under the weight of the platters upon it, all brimming with meats and vegetables from the bewildering wood. I've certainly earned this, you say to yourself, as you slide into your seat at the table, positively drooling over the feast before you. Melanie takes no note of your boorish behavior, uttering a small prayer of thanksgiving before reaching for a plate of vegetables. Mar sits, eyes fixed on the food upon the table, statuesque in his stillness. What a good boy.
What a good boy. We all appreciate Mar. Oh no, Mar, no.
Mar clears the entire table in a matter of seconds, even emptying the water barrel in a single gulp. He lets out a self-satisfied burp that sends a small jet of just-drank water arcing out onto the floor. The sun sinks low, and the day draws to a close.
No one has anything to say. I'm glad Mar is well fed.
A scream pierces the silence. Fire! You leap out of bed, adrenaline coursing through your veins. The others follow suit, and before long you've burst through the front door and into the street. Ridis's house is ablaze, a nearby villager screams.
Ridis's house. Hello.
My mother is still inside, Ridis shrieks, darting past you to fetch water from the well south of the village.
Car is moving. No, I'm gonna be a hero. Okay.
Ridis is gathering water in an attempt to fight the blaze all on her own.
Mar can carry on.
Mar's eyes light up. He scrambles over the edge of the well and sucks the well dry in an instant. He pokes at his swollen belly and gestures toward Ridis's house, as if to say, "Get me back there, quick."
I didn't expect this would work. Alright, let's go, Mar. Mar's the best.
Quickly, put it out. You have to put it out, Ridis screams at Mar. Mar douses the house with the water he sucked up from the well. The fire is reduced to mere embers, and all is well. Or so you think. Something darts out from behind the house and attacks.
Maybe werewolves. Sunrise. Happenstance cards. Sometimes carry in battle.
Excellent.
Which means he takes double damage. Get his ass. Thing happened again. Anyway, it's over. We did the fire monster.
The fiery beast dispatched, you return to putting out the last of the blaze with Mar's help. Ridis's mother, now safe, tells you the creature came out of nowhere and set the house aflame. What would bring a creature of fire to a place like this, you wonder? Light breaks on a new day, and the commotion of the fire feels but a nightmare. You lead your party to Ridis's house to ask for safe passage out of the bewildering wood.
Let's get out of here.
Though spared from complete collapse, Ridis's home has been thoroughly scorched.
Actually, 1 second. See if the villagers have anything new to say.
You didn't hear it from me, but the cause of the fire was She whispers baseless gossip in your ear. Apparently, she's heard rumors of the dragon destroying. The girl heaves a sigh of relief after learning the fire wasn't the dragon's doing. This road takes you to the east side of the Bewildering Wood, but you'd be hard-pressed to find your way without a woodlander's help, the guard warns. You follow the curious sounds to their source, our resident well water lover, digging at the dry well with his bare hands. He digs and digs, but no water is forthcoming. What's worse, he has injured his hand in the process. Melanie beseeches you to help the poor man. But well digging was forbidden by our ancestors long ago. You've heard the legends, you protest. How is that the best lie you can come up with? She snaps back, appalled.
Okay, that's not real. I wouldn't believe it.
The man turns towards you both, oblivious to the squabble playing out before him. Do you have any salve that might ease my pain? He asks.
I do.
You hand the man some salve.
Salve? Is that really how you say it? Is the L silent? Have I been wrong
The
whole
instant
time?
he applies it to his hands, he resumes his furious digging, this time punctuated with shouts of, "I feel incredible." Not long after that, water erupts from the ground with a force unlike any you've seen. He sidles up to the jet of water and begins drinking from it as one would from a fountain. He is once again in his element. The man hands you mysterious card 4 to show his appreciation for the salve.
I love the salve. And I love the mysterious card 4. That's my favorite one we've gotten so far. I guess the inn has a person who might say something. Never mind. We will rest though. Because it's free.
Ridis sits alone in one of its rooms, the air thick with the smell of char. There shouldn't be any fire creatures for miles, she grumbles. She says the monster appeared while she was playing the woodland flute last night. As to why any monsters, let alone fire monsters, appeared, well... Despite the circumstances, you ask Ridis to lead you out of the Bewildering Wood as promised. I did promise that, didn't I? She says wearily, rising from her seat. The poor girl is clearly still in shock.
Maybe the fire monsters are just attracted
Why do
to
you
this
want to
place because
venture
it's
out
easily
beyond the
flammable.
Bewildering Wood anyway? She inquires, as she gathers this and that in preparation to leave. We are in search of the dragon, you say valiantly, adding,
No.
the reward will be significant should we defeat him. Honesty is the best policy.
You don't have to tell her everything. She doesn't need to know all of her motivations.
Sounds like a real risky way to make a living, she replies flatly, feigning interest. A group of Ivory Order people came through here just the other day, she explains. You connect the dots with malice. Those three, you seethe. At last, Ridis is ready to depart for the edge of the Bewildering Wood.
New party member. 3 characters participate in battles. What do you got? You're not okay at what you do. Deal damage, dark damage, inflict poison. Deal 2 times damage. I don't know, she doesn't seem too amazing, but maybe she'll get other stuff. Does she have an ability? Never mind.
Upon seeing that Ridis is with you, he steps aside and lets you through.
Wait, do you have anything to say about Ridis when Ridis is with us? Never mind. Okay.
The eastern portion of the woods certainly does not want for thick, soupy fog.
I love fog.
You turn away, ready to lead the party deeper into the bewildering wood. Wait just a moment, you lot, calls the voice of an older man from somewhere behind you. Ridis appears to be familiar with him. She calls him Mr. O. Here you are, young lady, he says, handing her a slip of paper.
Invoice for rental property damage and associated repairs totaling 1 million gold.
Oh dear. Further, Mr. O explains, Ridis did not have a fire insurance policy at the time of the conflagration, and so she shall have to pay in full.
There's no way that house is worth 1 million gold.
I'll thank you kindly to pay by the end of the month. Bye now, Mr. O says, receding from view as he returns to the forest. Hee hee. Ridis lets out a bemused chuckle, her demeanor remarkably calm for what has just transpired. She pulls the woodland flute from her cloak and begins softly playing.
Beautiful.
Ridis's ear-splitting performance, shall we say, draws monsters out from behind the trees. Within moments, they are nearly upon you. About the enemy.
That's what I was saying. Okay, reserve members still get levels. Was worried. Thunderstorm.
That's odd. I must have made a mistake, Riddis says, burying her face in her old book once more. She opens the book to a particular page and thrusts it in your face. You can't tell anyone in the village I let you see this, okay? It's a page of sheet music with a note scrawled beside it that reads, "Play this lucky tune to reverse your financial fortunes and make money woes a thing of the past." No matter how many times I played this last night, our debt never went down, she fumes, incensed. You inspect the page a bit more carefully. Off in a corner, in letters so small as to be illegible, another message reads, "May summon monsters if played incorrectly." You finally see that so long as Riddis holds the flute, this is nothing more than a monster conjuring melody.
Ah, you burned your own house down, idiot.
You snatch the woodland flute from her hands. "You have lost your flute-playing privileges," you inform her. "But I'll never escape from this mountain of debt without it," she cries, clearly still believing in the melody of fortune. Melanie quietly opines that while Riddis is many things, Bright is not one of them.
Nicole Melanie has more than 4 at the moment.
Lucky.
Once you take 1 point of damage at fixed intervals.
You did great.
Nice. Harpier singer event. It's been solved. Down here. Okay.
Congrats. Nice work. Congrats.
Freeze damage. Okay, that makes things better. It's synergy. Could maybe use more events. Now it's the singer. We told him it's frickin' cold. There we go, buddy.
Here, Ritis chirps, pushing overgrown boughs and shrubs aside. As she does, a hidden path out of the bewildering wood comes into view.
Get out of here.
At last, you are free of the bewildering wood. Praise the power of the Woodlanders, you squeal in admiration of Ritis. She giggles bashfully. You've certainly kept your promise, you say. Thank you for showing us the way. I was hoping I could join you on your quest to defeat the dragon, Ritis suddenly blurts out. She takes out her old book and thrusts another page in your face. This week's creature of fortune is the dragon. Boons may befall those who encounter him. Melanie's jaw goes slack. What is the deal with this book? Melanie asks, bewildered. I can probably pay off my debt if we can just defeat the dragon, Ritis chirps, revealing her true intentions. No, I won't dilute my share of the riches any further. No more additions to the party, you bark. Have you no heart? Are you just going to leave a young, helpless girl like me to drown in an ocean of debt and deal with that crusty old man? Ritis fires back relentlessly. I want to go. No. so goes the endless chorus of your thoroughly unproductive argument. Melanie calmly reminds you that the party in its current form stands little chance of defeating the dragon. See, you need me, Ridis says, sensing an opportunity. Your well-reasoned argument of no thwarted, you nod your head in resignation and welcome Ridis to the party.
We're somewhere here on this journey, and let's hope these are the things that happen. Unionville.
Let's head to Unionville first, shall we? You see something approaching from up ahead. A monster, Melanie shouts, readying for battle. Mr. Flobby, get back here. It's dangerous out there, a young girl chides, taking the creature back to the village. It seems you've finally arrived at Unionville, a village where humans and monsters live together in peace. What a weird place, remarks Ridis lightheartedly. I like it. We aren't staying a moment longer than necessary, says an unsettled Melanie, her distaste for monsters plain on her face. Wow, a new friend, and so big, too, the furball exclaims in glee as it rushes over to Mar. Mar stares off into the distance as the furball snuggles up to his leg. For some reason, Ridis joins in on the cuddling. Lately, a suspicious man cloaked in black has been seen wandering about the village outskirts. The old woman looks at Melanie and remarks that he was dressed just like her. The little orc child is engrossed in a fairy tale. The title reads, The Legend of the Dragon. You take a peek into the picture book and come across a passage that piques your interest.
By the king's army, the dragon hid itself away.
To where, you wonder? Then recall that this is merely a fairy tale.
Or is it?
The village headman is a renowned gourmet, and rumor has it he only dines on the finest foods. The man says he wishes he too could have such a lavish meal just once in his life, his deep desire for delicacies only growing with time.
Not average bands flip sides nor. We'll look at that in a second. Well, the others will probably get.
However, does your mouth become so filthy, Mr. Flobby? Sighs the girl as she wipes the slime clean. Clearly embarrassed, Mr. Flobby murmurs, "That's not my mouth." The little goblin sulks as he gazes upon the withering flowers he tried so desperately to take care of. He looks at you with tears in his eyes, silently begging you for help. You pour the salve onto the flowers, and they stand up tall. The goblin cries out in happiness and thanks you for your help.
Everyone loves the salve.
He then holds something out to you.
baby.
The goblin stares lovingly at the beautiful flowers and gobbles them up. Healthy flowers are the tastiest, he proclaims in glee. Did he grow those flowers just to eat them? A young boy wanders up to your group in wide-eyed wonder. You surmise his curiosity stems from the lack of travelers visiting the village. You realize you are right when he assails you with questions about your origins and adventures. The Inquisition leaves you exhausted.
Oh, simple boy.
The goblin dutifully tends his flower bed, eagerly anticipating the day they bloom. You ask the old man if he knows anything about the dragon. No, sir, he answers. All I know is that it brings more trouble to this already troubled world. But our headman is a wise and worldly man. He might know something, he remarks, pointing at a house not far away. The child says his monster friend left the village suddenly to go back home. He claims the headman told him that he could go home when he grew up too. The little orc child pouts, but I don't know where my home is. A quiet fur ball sits with crumbs around its mouth. The woman frowns deeply, claiming the cakes she bought for her beloved furball have all been eaten by someone else.
2D armor. As I thought, better equipment. The air splitter. You could do a save.
Travelers, you hear a voice call from somewhere. Down here, at thy feet. You look down to see a small clump of fur by your boots. The clump of fur speaks. I am Lappy, and I should like to journey forth with thee. Lappy the furball looks at you with amiable expectations.
Hell yeah, man. Join us.
Of course, the more the merrier, you exclaim, pumping your fist energetically into the air. But Melanie coldly interjects, no, I can't trust monsters.
Come on, Melanie, don't be like that.
Thoroughly rejected by Melanie, Lappy bursts into tears. Lappy says he has no friends because of his aged face and speech. All alone, he decided to leave the village on a journey. Your party is silenced by the crying child with the face of a grown man. It seems even monsters have their problems. You tell Melanie to be nice and quip that both she and Lappy could use a friend. Exhausted from arguing with you, Melanie half-heartedly agrees. Fine, we can be friends. However, she says that they are on a dangerous journey to defeat the dragon. As such, they cannot take a child with them. Lappy leaps up and hugs her in his excitement, exclaiming, "Thou hast made me so happy." Till next time, Melanie says, peeling Lappy off of her and placing him on the ground. Though she thought all monsters to be evil, Melanie feels that the ones here are different. Finally, a friend.
This could be our most powerful ally. I can feel it. It's gonna drop in from above and cause a nuclear blast on the dragon.
You bow, but before you can speak, the man suddenly introduces himself as the village headman. He laughs, then shamelessly praises his own village as being wondrous and peaceful. "And who are you?" he asks. After explaining that you are on a quest to defeat the dragon, the headman invites you to rest your feet a bit in his village. He says that he had heard rumors of the dragon when he traveled the world. You must be tired from your journey. Have a seat. I will have my chef prepare a feast, the headman says, then claps his hands twice to summon a stewardess. Extravagant dishes that you have never seen before are placed on the table before you, each one looking more delicious than the last. "You're drooling," Melanie scowls. You hadn't even noticed. You wipe your mouth with your sleeve, then gasp as you turn to Mar. Perhaps in an attempt to hold himself back, Mar is gnawing on the table corner. There, we'll eat soon," you reassure Mar while gently stroking his head. The doors fly open in the next instant, and a girl runs in. With tears in her eyes, she tells you that her dear companion, Mr. Flobby the Slime, is missing. The headman's eyes go wide in surprise. "We must find that slime right away," he says anxiously. "You are starving, but it doesn't look like you'll be able to partake of the feast before you because of Mr. Flobby's disappearance." will find your slime. And then we feast, you add quietly. Melanie reminds you that you are here to get clues about the dragon from the headman. What's the difference? Literally everything. Hunger taking its toll, you two begin to argue. Brave heroes, the headman interjects, then bows his head. Would you please find her slime? It appears the story has hit a standstill until you find the missing Mr. Flobby. You need to hear the whole story from the young girl. The girl sobs, wailing about the missing Mr. Flobby. Melanie places her hand atop the girl's head and promises that your party will find her companion. The girl then hands something to Melanie. It looks like the muddy handkerchief she used to wipe Mr. Flobby. She asks Melanie to wipe Mr. Flobby with it after you find him. The girl claims to have searched the village but cannot find her friend anywhere. Regardless, looking aimlessly outside the village would be a waste of time. You decide to collect more information in the village. Having no interest in children's picture books, you continue on your way. She says she saw a suspicious man in black with a slime outside the village not long ago. She claims they went northwest together. Did that man take Mr. Flobby? You resolve to leave the village in search of the pair. Any travelers with magical little critters can stay for free. It appears the headman's long-standing pronouncement on the welcoming of all magical creatures also applies to you and your party. You leave the janky telescope where you found it, and make your way cautiously toward what you saw. Yeah, looks like it was only an old woman. You try to say hello, but she wanders off without even registering your presence. Though a torch is not strictly necessary, it would certainly help you find your way through the dimly lit shrine. Your footing is obscured in the dimness of the shrine. You should probably proceed with. You go forth slowly but steadily, taking it one step at a time. You take a good look at the floor and see it lined in trails of viscous liquid. No doubt a slime or 200 have passed through here.
Where are the torches? That's it. Alright, yeah, that. Union Villages doesn't sell torches. Oh, you can get a second torch. Just in case this were to happen again.
It looks like poor Mr. Flobby is being held captive by the Mystery Man. Hand over that slime, you shout to the man in the dark. You speak as if I kidnapped him, he remarks, curtly turning to face you. When your eyes finally adjust to the surrounding darkness, you realize the man's clothes look eerily similar to Melanie's. Melanie's mouth falls open in surprise. It seems the man has noticed Melanie as well. It looks like the two know each other. The man says that he and Melanie came from the same village, where this was their native dress. The man's revelation makes you realize that you know almost nothing about Melanie's past.
I don't know anything about anyone's past.
You ask Melanie about her hometown, but she holds her tongue. Then the man speaks. With forbidden magic, our clan has ensured the dragon, he begins, when Melanie cuts in. She rattles on about the man, telling you that he is Vince, a lunatic obsessed with the dragon. Vince resentfully claims that he is searching for the noble dragon to protect it. You ran away from home with your tail between your legs, he ridicules. Enraged, Melanie lunges at Vince. You had so many questions, but realize that the most pressing matter is getting Mr. Flobby back. So you ready for battle? Careful, he won't go down easy.
This might be
fight, Vince asks, "Do you know the truth about that village?" The headman may look like a nice old man, but he keeps those little monsters around too. He begins, but before he can finish, Winifred, Edwin, and Berwin of the Ivory Order appear. The three brush you aside, fixing their attention on Vince. "So you are the one who disturbs the peace," they exclaim, then charge at him. The Ivory Order and that false justice they serve are the true evil here, he retaliates, fighting back.
I want to revive Melanie. Or never mind, I guess it doesn't matter. The dead do get experience, it turns out. Thankfully. Just don't want to pass up Rita's doing a double damage. No attack for 2 turns.
Seeing the two parties occupied with each other, you realize this is your chance to grab Mr. Flobby. Vince is on equal footing with the three from the Order. You realize then that he wasn't fighting in earnest against you earlier. Engrossed in their battle, the combatants pay you no mind. Perhaps wary of humans, Mr. Flobby dashes out when you draw near. When you reach out to grab Mr. Flobby, he suddenly attacks. Lower Mr. Flobby's stamina to calm him down. Exhausted from the fight, the raging Mr. Flobby finally stops attacking. But it seems he hasn't yet come to his senses. He glares warily at your party. Find something to help return Mr. Flobby to normal. You wipe Mr. Flobby's mouth with the handkerchief you received from the girl. Then you hear a quiet voice speak. "That's not my mouth," Mr. Flobby murmurs bashfully. It looks like the girl's familiar scent on the handkerchief returned him to normal. Having regained his senses, Mr. Flobby heads back to the village. You place the increasingly sticky handkerchief in your bag. A bizarre rock appeared. It seems primed to explode. The bizarre rock transformed into a fear rock. The only way out of this fight is through it. fight.
50 defend. Brother.
Nice work.
Know why I was still able to do damage to it. Defense numbers, just like a suggestion.
Lappy approaches and tells you that Mr. Flobby has returned. The girl is ecstatic that Mr. Flobby is finally back home. I'm happy for you, Melanie says with a smile as she returns the handkerchief. The girl bows her head and thanks you deeply. Mr. Flobby looks as slimy as ever. You just hope it's a happy slime. The headman wants us to bring Mr. Flobby to him. Would you mind, you ask? Of course not. But bring him back soon, she answers with a bright smile.
Got a bad feeling. Mr. Flobby's sending me a story.
Come home soon, Mr. Flobby, says the girl anxiously.
On the gourmet, you know, it dines on the finest foods. The food are the monsters is gonna eat them.
I am so happy to see you safe and sound, the headman exclaims, giving Mr. Flobby a hug. You explain everything that happened, including the incident with Vince and the Ivory Order. He expresses his relief that the Order will be taking care of the criminal. He then thanks you for your hard work and instructs his stewardess to prepare dinner for your party. You can feel your collective mouths watering at the sight of the lavish meal before you.
Let's look at it.
You, Mar, and Ridis immediately dig in. You aren't sure where you find a moment to breathe among all the feasting. Please, eat to your heart's content, the headman insists with a smile. Once your belly is full, you realize that Mr. Flobby is gone. And then... Room for dessert? The headman asks, offering you a plate of slimy jelly. You feel your stomach churning at the very sight of it. The color strikes you as familiar, and the stickiness sends a shiver down your spine. Is this Mr. Flobby? you ask the headman, your voice trembling in disbelief. The headman looks at you with a plain expression, one that holds no malice. Is that a problem? He questions back. This dish is a masterpiece, he remarks with a light-hearted chuckle as he gazes at the jelly. And I have you brave heroes to thank for it. Had you not brought that slime back, we would not be able to enjoy this exquisite dessert.
Oh, yeah.
Are you full? He asks, seemingly concerned at your silence. It would be a shame to let something so splendid go to waste. You move to leave, but the headman stops you. I try to get my meat while it's still young and tender, but at least your pet is very plump, he remarks, licking his lips. He points at Mar and asks, would you consider leaving that creature here with me?
Mars, no.
Never, you refuse flatly, not bothering to hide your discomfort. Think about it, he entreats. And then you grab the headman by his lapels, hands trembling in fury. Congrats.
That's not gonna be like a trained fighter.
You pummel the headman with all your might. Curled up on the ground, the headman groans in pain, but insists that monsters were meant to be eaten. You hug Mar tightly, reassuring him that you will not hand him over to anyone. Mar looks at you with his round eyes and mews softly. You meet eyes with the rest of your party and reach a tacit agreement. Together, you all stand and leave.
Oh, yeah.
As you are about to leave the headman's house, though, the old man suddenly charges at you from behind. But Mar, the keener of you two, is quick to block his path. With a crash, Mar and the headman tumble to the ground. From the headman's hand falls a small blade. It clatters to the ground, covered in blood. You take the injured Mar to an inn where you can watch over him.
Mar.
You gaze at the unconscious Mar with concern. Despite the shallow wound, no amount of medicine seems to rouse Mar from the bed. I heard that my friends were in danger, so I came as quickly as I could, Lappy says. As he reaches Mar's bedside, he leans over and licks his wound. This is what-you-call-it extract, he shouts.
What?
He explains that it is a poison extracted from a certain monster. If it enters the body, it drastically reduces one's stamina.
Would poisoning Mar make him inedible?
Hearing those words, you realize the headman's blade must have been coated in this poison. Mar's condition starts to make sense. Isn't there anything we can do? Melanie asks. Lappy's eyes widen in realization before he places his mouth over Mar's wound and begins sucking. He then puts the what-you-call-it extract into a bottle and hands it to you. Lappy says that if you follow the road south of the village, you will reach Shoreland. He tells you to give the extract to the famous nutritionist there. Realizing that you are at fault for this, you don't hesitate to undertake the quest.
Should have knocked him out more at the road. Hit him harder.
But this is strange. The extract comes from a monster, so it should have no effect on one, Lappy remarks with a curious tilt of his head.
More.
He urges you to hurry on to Shoreland and find the nutritionist. I thought a beast of that size would eat us out of house and home, she remarks, no doubt talking about Mar.
You're complicit in this.
The girl sighs. You're dirty again, she says, wiping a slime's mouth. Mr. Flobby, you're alive, you exclaim in glee. This is Mr. Globby, Mr. Flobby's cousin, she tells you. The girl sighs. You're dirty again, she says, wiping Mr. Flobby's cousin, Mr. Globby.
Alright, let's look at those stories now. Dragon's stalwart convent. Average man. Hey, tough luck. gonna climb the tree. I don't like that one. Not a fan. Computer Lunar Solid, Mr. Fobby. Bobby, brother Blevy, nephew Booby. None of them are with us any longer. Oh, it's horrifying. Okay, this is the upgraded version. Not sure yet. Oh. A feet of rock. Those are our little stories of the day. And that'll about do it for today. Do the double save. Alrighty, so thank you for watching, and see you Wednesday for next Voice of Cards stream, where we will try to cure Mar of his poison. So we cannot let harm befall Mar. We must protect him at all costs. Thank you and have a good night.